Ever looked at your bank balance and felt calm? Not panicked, not stressed, just genuinely okay with what you see. That moment when you stop doing mental math before buying lunch, or when unexpected expenses don't trigger immediate anxiety. There's a specific dollar amount where this transformation happens, and it's probably way lower than you think. Financial influencers love throwing around big numbers. You need 1 million to retire. 6 figures is when life gets easy. But they're missing something crucial. There's a much smaller benchmark that fundamentally shifts how you interact with money, and reaching it changes absolutely everything. That benchmark? $20,000. I'm Alex, and I'm obsessed with understanding how money actually works. Not the theory, but the psychology behind why some people build wealth consistently, while others stay financially stuck year after year. If you want to crack the code on wealth building, instead of just wishing things were different, smash that subscribe button. And if this video shifts your perspective on money, hit the like button to help others find it. Now, here's my question. What picture forms in your head when I say building wealth? Do you see someone born into money who never worried about bills? Or maybe someone grinding endlessly, stacking pennies for decades? Here's reality. Wealth building operates nothing like most people imagine. The secret? Financial thresholds exist, invisible checkpoints that completely rewrite the rules once you cross them. $20,000 is your first major checkpoint. It separates future wealth builders from people who spend their entire lives trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. The wild part? Most people don't even know this checkpoint exists. Here's an analogy. Picture pushing a massive boulder uphill. The beginning's brutal. You're straining, sweating, barely making progress, wondering if it's even worth it. But once you build momentum, everything shifts. The boulder moves faster, and when you finally crest that hill, it practically rolls itself down the other side. $20,000 is that crest. Everything before it feels like fighting uphill against impossible odds. Everything after feels like the wind at your back. But here's what's fascinating, and this might surprise you. The change isn't purely mathematical. Sure, you have more capital to deploy and larger absolute returns, but the real transformation, it happens inside your head. Without savings, your brain locks into what researchers call scarcity mode. Every single decision gets filtered through fear and desperation. You grab the first job offer, even if it's terrible, because you can't risk waiting. You tolerate situations you hate because change feels dangerous. You agree to things you despise because you need the cash. This isn't about being smart or disciplined. In scarcity mode, your brain literally cannot process growth opportunities. It's like planning retirement while your car's on fire. Your entire focus is consumed by immediate survival. But cross that $20,000 line, your brain unlocks a completely different operating system. Instead of, how do I make it to Friday, you're thinking, how do I multiply this money? Instead of reacting to whatever crisis appears next, you're proactively building your future. Vanguard's research reveals something stunning. Just $2,000 in emergency savings boosts your financial wellness by 21%. $2,000, less than most people spend on a single vacation. But that small buffer creates massive psychological space by pulling you out of pure survival mode. Push that emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses, roughly $20,000 for most people, and you gain another 13% wellness boost. More importantly, you've created enough mental breathing room to actually think about building wealth instead of just protecting what you have. Now the math gets exciting. Let's say you save $1,000 monthly and earn 8% returns on your investments. Reaching your first $20,000 takes approximately 19 months of consistent discipline. That's nearly 2 years of sacrifice, delayed gratification, and saying no to temptations. It's tough, and honestly, most people quit partway through. But here's the mind-blowing part. Your second $20,000 only takes about 17 months. Why? Because now that first $20,000 is working alongside your monthly contributions, generating its own returns. Think about this. You're doing identical work, saving the same monthly amount, taking the same investment risk, but you're shaving off 2 full months just because your money's working for you. That's compound interest waking up.
By your third $20,000, the timeline compresses even further. Your money starts shouldering more of the load while your effort stays constant. At the extreme end, it gets almost absurd. Once you hit $400,000 invested, you can generate another $20,000 in just 5 months. The same amount that took nearly 2 years initially now happens automatically. That first milestone feels impossible. Every milestone after gets progressively easier. Now, you might think wealthy people access some secret investment universe regular people can't touch, exclusive hedge funds, special opportunities that unlock at certain wealth levels. While there's some truth to that at the ultra-wealthy level, it's not driving this $20,000 phenomenon. The real secret is simpler and way more encouraging. It's pure mathematics working in your favor. Invest $1,000, earn 10% growth, make $100. Take that exact 10% and apply it to $10,000, and suddenly you're looking at $1,000 profit. Same investment, same time frame, same risk. This is why $20,000 feels transformative. Below that threshold, investment returns feel meaningless because you're working with small amounts. A 10% return on $2,000 is $200. Nice, but hardly life-changing. But 10% on $20,000, that's $2,000. Now we're talking. With $20,000 invested, earning 8% annually, that's $1,600 flowing into your account each year without lifting a finger. Money you didn't earn through labor, money that appeared because your existing money was working for you. The investment strategy isn't more sophisticated than someone with $1,000 can use. Same index funds, same platforms, same basic principles. The only difference? Scale. And that scale transforms small percentage wins into meaningful financial progress. But here's what most people completely miss, and this might be the most crucial point in this entire video. When you save $20,000, you've accomplished something far more valuable than just stacking cash in an account. You've rewired your brain and built the most powerful financial habit you'll ever develop. I know that sounds like self-help fluff, but stay with me. This is where it gets practical. Think about what saving $20,000 from zero actually requires. Unless you're earning ridiculous money or living rent-free, this demands serious discipline. You tracked every dollar. You declined things you wanted to prioritize saving instead. You resisted blowing your savings on whatever caught your eye that week. Most critically, you did this consistently for months or years. And here's the kicker. You proved to yourself that you control your money, not the other way around. You became someone capable of delaying gratification when it matters. That's not just a money skill, that's a life skill. This identity transformation is massive because it influences every financial decision going forward. Before $20,000 saved, buying a $3 coffee required mental gymnastics about affordability. After hitting $20,000, you're not stressing small purchases anymore because you know your priorities are aligned. You've proven you can make big sacrifices when necessary. But there's another psychological shift at this level that rarely gets discussed. You start seeing opportunities instead of just threats. Living paycheck to paycheck means every unexpected expense feels catastrophic. Car repairs, broken electronics, rent increases. These aren't opportunities, they're financial emergencies that derail everything. With $20,000 banked, these same events become minor annoyances at worst. Car repairs? Annoying, not catastrophic. Broken laptop? Time to upgrade. Rent increase? Maybe time to negotiate your salary or find something better. Even better, you start noticing opportunities that were always there but previously inaccessible. Friends starting a business and seeking investors? Before, you'd think interesting and move on. Now you can actually evaluate whether investing $5,000 makes sense. Great deal on a rental property needing work? Before, you'd scroll past on Zillow feeling envious. Now you can run the numbers. Boss mentions a career-boosting conference but won't cover it? Before, you'd make excuses. Now you can assess the ROI. This is what wealthy people mean by money goes to money. It's not some cosmic conspiracy. Having money creates options, and options generate more money-making opportunities. Here's something else happening around $20,000 that challenges everything you thought about budgeting. You start caring less about small expenses and more about big ones. Sounds backwards, right? But hear me out. When you're broke, you obsess over every purchase. Name brand versus generic, coffee shop versus homemade, premium versus regular gas. These micro decisions consume mental energy because every dollar feels precious. But with solid financial footing, you realize these decisions are largely irrelevant. The difference between buying coffee versus making it at home is maybe $1,000 annually if you're extreme. That's not nothing, but it won't make or break your financial future. What matters, the big decisions: housing costs, transportation, savings rate, investment strategy. These choices swing your net worth by tens of thousands of dollars over time. So instead of agonizing over organic bananas, you focus energy on optimizing housing, maximizing income, and solidifying your investment approach. This focus shift is incredibly liberating because it frees mental bandwidth for decisions that actually matter. You stop sweating trivial stuff and
Start thinking strategically about wealth building. Now let's discuss what happens to your career after hitting this milestone, because this is where things get fascinating. Having $20,000 saved doesn't just transform your money relationship, it transforms your work relationship. Paycheck to paycheck means you're trapped in your current job. Terrible boss, toxic coworkers, soul-crushing work, doesn't matter. You need that next paycheck to survive. This creates an incredibly weak negotiating position. Can't ask for raises, they might fire you. Can't push back on unreasonable demands, you need them more than they need you. Can't explore alternatives, taking interview time feels too risky. You're stuck, and everyone knows it. But $20,000 changes everything. Suddenly, you have what I call walkaway money. You could quit tomorrow and survive months while finding something better. This doesn't mean being reckless or burning bridges. It means negotiating from strength, not desperation. This psychological shift affects your entire career approach. You ask for deserved raises because the worst they can say is no, and you'll be fine. You push back on unreasonable requests because you're not afraid of consequences. You explore new opportunities because you can afford calculated risks. Here's what's wild. Often, you don't even need to use your walkaway money. Just having it changes your entire workplace demeanor. You become more confident, assertive, willing to tackle challenging projects. And when you show up differently, people notice. Suddenly, you're getting better assignments, more recognition, and yes, more compensation. It's like having a secret superpower you hope never to use, but knowing it's there transforms how you operate. Best part? The more confident and successful you become at work, the faster you build wealth, creating even more options and confidence. It's a positive feedback loop that accelerates over time. But here's where people screw this up, and I see it constantly. They hit $20,000, feel that psychological shift, then immediately blow it on something foolish. New car because they've been so disciplined, expensive vacation because they've earned it, down payment on an unaffordable house. Don't do this. That $20,000 isn't a reward for good behavior. It's the foundation of your entire financial future. It's the seed that grows into generational wealth if you're patient enough to let it compound. Here's something that'll make you laugh or cry depending on your situation. The average person spends more on cars over their lifetime than what's required to achieve complete financial independence. Think about that. Between payments, insurance, maintenance, and gas, most people drop $600 to $800 monthly on transportation. Over 40 years, that's easily $400,000 plus just to get from A to B. Meanwhile, they're complaining they can't save for retirement. It's like spending a fortune on an unused gym membership while claiming they can't afford healthy food. Here's what makes it more absurd. Drive a new car off the lot and it immediately loses 20% value. You're not just spending money, you're actively destroying wealth. Compare that to investing the same amount in diversified portfolios. Instead of watching money evaporate, you're watching it multiply. But I get it. Cars are emotional purchases. You want reliability, good looks, something that makes you feel successful. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you understand the trade-off. That car payment might make you feel wealthy, but it's actually keeping you poor. Having $20,000 saved completely transforms your perspective on major purchases. Instead of, can I afford the monthly payment, you think, what's this really costing me in opportunity?
That $30,000 car isn't just $30,000, it's $30,000 that could grow to over $200,000 in investments over 20 years. Suddenly, driving a reliable used car doesn't feel like sacrifice. It feels like a strategic choice, funding your future freedom. Beautiful irony. The person driving the flashy new car is probably stressed about money, while the person in the older Honda is quietly building wealth and sleeping soundly. This mindset shift extends to every major financial decision. Housing, education, vacations, hobbies, everything gets filtered through opportunity cost. Not obsessively, sucking joy from life, strategically, ensuring intentional choices about where your money goes. And here's something surprising. Once you think this way, you often realize you don't actually want half the stuff you thought you wanted. Bigger apartment? Extra space would be nice, but is it worth delaying financial independence by 5 years? Expensive hobby? Fun, but there are probably cheaper ways to get the same satisfaction. This isn't about becoming a penny-pinching miser who never enjoys anything. It's about being intentional with money instead of letting it slip away on things that don't actually matter to you. When you have clear financial goals and understand compound interest's power, it becomes much easier to distinguish between what you want and what you really want. Look, $20,000 won't make you rich overnight, but it will fundamentally transform how you think about money and opportunity. It's the difference between surviving and thriving, between reacting to life and designing it. Start building that foundation today because your future self is counting on the decisions you make right now. Trust me, they'll thank you for it.